You know, for someone who's supposedly a mad genius, I'm not seeing much of the genius.
Keep it up, Shego, and you'll see plenty of the mad.
Ooh, scary man.
Oh.
Alright, so Halloween has officially started here on this channel, and boy oh boy am I excited. So, starting off this look with the eyes, I am going to be doing a green eye look for obvious reasons. And for me personally, I had no clue what I wanted to do for this. I just literally pulled out all of my green eyeshadows, and then I just started kind of picking and choosing and building a look based on the colors that I had, which I am going to link every product that I use down in the description bar, so you can feel free to use some similar colors. You can use whatever you have in your collection. That is one thing I love about Halloween looks, because it's so unique and it can be whatever you want it to be. I'm going to end up doing a pretty dramatic look, but you yourself can do something way more simple if that's your comfort level. So please just do whatever you think is best. So for me, I decided to do something pretty dramatic. No one should be surprised. And I just really took the time to build up the depth in my crease here with a bunch of the different green shades. Again, do whatever you're most comfortable with, but I really don't think this look can be bad. Then I started doing like a half cut crease with like some sort of diagonal placing of my eyeshadow. I have no idea the reasoning why I did this, but I did like the way that it turned out. It kind of made my eyes a little bit more elongated, kind of like a cartoon character, so I was digging it. And then the only shade that wasn't green that I used was this black shade to deepen the outer V and again create a little bit more depth on this eye look. The big thing to remember when doing your eyeshadow is just blend, blend, blend. Shego wouldn't have choppy eyeshadow. You know it, I know it, so don't do it. And then, of course, again, I told you I'm dramatic, so we're going to put on a pretty thick wing. Again, that just kind of helped with the elongated eye even more, and it's going to help with my falsies later. So for eyebrows, Shego's eyebrows are very thick, very like clean cut, like the bottom edges you can see, and then quite boxy looking. And then we're going to add the little flare to her eyebrows later. So I just took my normal eyebrow pencil and filled them in, and then boom, I also filled them in with the eyeliner that I use because her eyebrows are black. Moving on to the face, I'm using a mixture of two primers today. I'm using the Fenty Pro Filt'r primer and then the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip primer. I just want to make sure I had a really good barrier before I started putting the foundation on my face. I'm using my two lightest foundations and then mixing in green eyeshadow from the BH Cosmetics 88 matte palette. That is my favorite palette for Halloween looks, you guys, because it's inexpensive and they have a ton of colors, and I don't mind just crumbling it up into a foundation, which is what I did here. That is a tip for you guys. I find that mixing the eyeshadows in your foundation to get a color is so much better on the skin, and it looks more realistic than face paint. So that is what I did. I will link all my old Halloween videos down below where I also did this technique so you can see. And then to highlight in all my high points, I used Mehron's Clown White face paint for this. And then I am powdering my whole face. You definitely want to powder your entire face when you do mix eyeshadows in with your foundation, believe me. And then we're just going to finish up the lower part of the eyes. As you can see, I did add my falsies, which again, I will link all my products that I use down below. And then I'm just really focusing on making that top part green. And then I highlighted with a matte white eyeshadow up here, and I thought it was really nice looking. I am going into the Jeffree Star Androgyny palette, and that is the shade Military for my contour. I did my contour pretty much like I normally do, but just a little bit more dramatic. And then after I had the contour kind of laid down how I wanted it, I took a big fluffy brush and a little bit more of the Military shade, and then there's another blue shade in there, And I just kind of started mixing those and putting it on like a blush slash bronzer all over, because Shego does have a slight blue hue to her. So that is why I did this, and then just to kind of blend it out a little bit so the contour wasn't super harsh. And then of course we have to give ourselves the cartoon character nose. So to do that, you're going to want to take really thin lines kind of close together on the top of your nose. And then to give it that point, you want to create a little curved line above the button of your nose and underneath it as well. And that's going to make your nose kind of more stand-up-ish and pointy like a cartoon character. And then, of course, we're going to highlight ourselves to the gods, because this is me we're talking about. So I just dipped into a shade from the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette, and we are just putting that everywhere. I touched up my eyes just a little bit to make them a little bit more green, and then I had also added a little flare to her eyebrows to make her look angry as well. Then for your lips, you're going to want to fill in your whole top lip, including your Cupid's bow, and then draw a little line on the very bottom part of your bottom lip. And I used Kylie's Cosmetics Dark of Night liquid lipstick to do that. And then I am telling you that we are going to start drawing on the body paint. So I decided to paint on her costume because I didn't feel like buying one, so that's why I did this. I just looked at a picture of her and then mapped out the lines of her costume with my eyebrow pencil, just so it would have like a rough sketch of like where I was going to need to fill in with paint. And once I got everything kind of situated, I started filling in with Mehron Paints. I will link the ones that I used down below. I found these ones very nice to work with and very pigmented. I used a green one for all her green spaces, and I used a sponge to do this because this specific one said it works best with a damp sponge, and I agree. I started with a brush and it was just taking too long and it wasn't as pigmented. So I fill in all the appropriate green spaces with an old beauty sponge, and then we started filling it in with black, and I used a mix of my Makeup Forever Flash palette and then again a Mehron face paint that I will have linked down below. And I etched out the lines with the brush and then filled in the black as well. With the black coloring, you definitely have to set it with a powder. I set it with a black powder. You could use translucent powder, but the black shades need to be set for the majority of the time because they transfer the worst. So do just keep that in mind. It's one extra step, but for it not get all in your hair or everything you touch is a bonus. And then once you guys finish filling in your paint or put on your actual costume, you have fully transformed into Shego. So I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in my next one. Happy Halloween!